forgot I've only that hard on the throttle there and managed to get past him. I am now absolutely sure that I did get some sort of glitch last year. Hello everyone, welcome to the AOR USA Grand Prix. Bit of a mouthful, wasn't it? And jumping straight into the car then, we saw yesterday, managed to smash it on pole, be the only guy on the top 3 that was on inters still. Everyone else went back out on 6 and managed to set a better time. Well, the other 3 did anyway, the other 2 in the top 3 did. Jumping straight onto the track, the plan is to start on options. Brand new set of course, the 2 guys behind me will be on a slightly used set, having set their final lap in quali on them. Going to prime, but I will tell you, I completely lied yesterday. There is scheduled rain for this race, 68% chance in fact. So quite a strong possibility of rain in this race. But you can see that on pole. And B David just behind and what behind him. We know B David's got pretty decent pace. So open for a decent start then. So waiting for control of the car. There it goes, straight into lean, save a little bit of fuel while I'm idling. Don't know if it makes a difference, but I always do it anyway. And here we go, the lights go on. We're going to do an absolute full throttle start as always. Rich mixture, and the lights go out. There we go. And pretty decent start. Looks like a bit of a better start than B David, which is good. And yep, indeed, going to come right over to the inside then, just to make sure I defend from it nicely. Bit of curves there as well, braking nice and early. Don't want to be out braking myself. The inside line is most important through this corner, and looks like Lotus got a little bit wide there, but managed to maintain P1 out the first corner, which is good. And now we need to push and try and get a gap, particularly with these brand spanking new option tyres. And 2 guys behind will be on used tyres, and a bit of a cut there. Of course, you know, it's been a day for you, but it would have been a matter of minutes between me being on inters in quali. In fact, towards the end of quali on a dry track on inters, so with no grip at all, to suddenly being on high fuel and grippy tyres in the race is a big difference. Of course, you know, I do expect a few cuts and things. I'll obviously do my best to not do that, so run a little bit deep there as well. But it's quite a big change. Looks like B David going defensive there. Straight away, can use the rest of my curves. Nice big gap already, so minimise the slipstream to the cars behind. And hopefully that'll mean they're battling as well, which will certainly help me. And yes, they are side by side, so that's going to help me a lot. And go to standard there. Get all slowed down nicely. Nailed my apex. This has been a decent open lap, hasn't it? Already got quite a big gap actually. What's it going to be? And Jack first managed to get B David, well, by 6,000ths. They're still contesting that. And 1.6 seconds after 2 sectors then. So 0.8 a sector. I'll certainly take that. Pretty much nailed this opening lap, haven't we? Not been any mistakes. And it looks like B David's got back ahead of Jack first, so more battling. That's certainly going to help me pull away. And well, I'm already well outside DRS, aren't I? Which is absolutely beautiful. Penultimate corner. It's just such a horrible corner, extending it there. Get it also down for the final corner. Another cut. No extension at least though. And what is the gap going to be now then after just the first lap? 2.2 seconds then, so quite a bit away, and Jack first actually managed to go out to P3 as well. So we skip ahead then to lap 5. You can see that it's just starting to spit with rain, and not heavy for now. And I didn't mention at the time actually, just before we cut the edit there at the end of the first lap, my engineer told me 10 minutes until it's going to rain. A little bit of a wheel spin there, didn't really correct it. That was a bit of a strange one. But 4 seconds to be David then, so nice big gap now. Managed to get out another couple of seconds the last couple of laps, so we'll certainly take that. And well, the rain's not too heavy for now. Looks like I'm going to go for primes though. These options are okay, but because the rain's starting to come, I'm thinking they'd probably be more efficient to go on the primes and almost to the barrier there. Right on the absolute limit of what was possible on that pit entry. But nailed it nicely. It looks like a couple of the guys behind me are going to pit. And who stayed out there really? B David certainly pitted. I think Jack first might have stayed out. But I could be completely wrong on that. There's certainly quite a few guys that are passing us now, so we're going to have a bit of traffic to get through. We should be able to, because we're going to have fresher tyres. And a bit of a gap to the car behind. Oh, it's Jack first behind, so he must have not pitted. So it must be Fat first then leading this race now. And Granu's just ahead. So regardless of what tyres they started on, options or primes, they'll be fairly warm by now. And particularly as the conditions start to get wetter and wetter. And even on brand new tyres, the grip starts diminishing. So as you're on, well, brand new tyres, the grip's very good, whereas if you're on used tyres, it just compounds the problem even more, and you really struggle for grip, struggle to control the car. So it's always better to be on newer tyres when the conditions start to change. And big cut there. As Kramer I was just going to mention how close Cran was behind me. He's about a second behind me, and then he disconnects. But we're going to get DRS on Granu. It must be very close. It's going to be very... We're certainly under a second now, but were we as we crossed the DRS detection line? No, we were not quite. Must have been very close. That's okay. Hopefully we'll get him in the next DRS zone, which is on the start-finish straight. Mind you, all very close to each other, giving each other DRS. That's okay. Just need to keep our head calm. We've got Jack first behind, and well, I thought B David pitted. If he did, he lost a lot of time to Jack first. Maybe he changed his wing or something. Failing that, he's out in the lead. But there's 2 cars behind me. One of them's Jack first. I don't know if there is B David, but anyway, enough about that for now. We closed right up on Granu the last couple of corners with these new tyres as we expected. And this rain, luckily, the rain's not coming down too heavily, so I have made the right choice there. It was a choice between that or stay out for the inters, but I didn't really see that as a viable option because it just wasn't raining heavy enough and the tyres were already pretty worn. I'm nice and close to Granu now. Going to get DRS, but so is he. Yes, he does. So I doubt we'll be able to get the move done here, but that's okay. We'll just stay in a slipstream. We won't use rich or anything. Just save the fuel, save the curves. Get it all slowed down nicely. But oh, bit of big lock up there. Looks like he's gone deep. So is Genesis. Actually, we might be able to get a double move. We can get Granu. Certainly a bit of contact there between me and Granu. And looks like we're going to dive by the outside of Genesis as well. Yes, we did. So double move in one corner. They both made the same mistake. I kept my head and just managed to sneak through there. And that perhaps that's the track starting to lose a little bit of grip. Big cut there. Track's starting to lose a little bit of grip, as I said, with the brand new tyres. I'll have quite a big advantage when the rain starts to come heavier. So, well, I'll certainly take that at the battling as well. Slow each other down. Hopefully they won't get DRS. No, they won't get DRS too far back. That's why I used all my curves and Rich there just to try and stop them from getting it, which I think I did. So they wouldn't be able to attack me. Hopefully. Marco's actually in the next car then, so his poor quality yesterday. That's the interesting thing about Marco. He's certainly got a lot of talent. You know, we've seen him win races against me, very close races, and been faster than me on pace. But he seems to fluctuate a little bit. I mean, this season that's going on right now, the one that I'm not participating in on F1 2014, it's fair to say he's pretty dominant in that. But I think even he regards there's not many people there who can really challenge him in that season. But this season, at least, he was yeah, he was a bit inconsistent. I think going from getting a win in India to being, well, I mean, P3 as it stands, but a few people have pitted and right down the order. Just can't quite, massive cut there. Just can't quite seem to get it together race after race, which is obviously what's key to being a title winner, particularly such competitive as AOR. I do get DRS, but I expect I'll be too far back. That's okay. We'll just close down on him nicely. Again, not going to rich, not doing any silly things like that, not using any curves, just saving it all up. And looks like Marco's gone deep there again. Have a little look at the inside here, but I wouldn't imagine we can make that work. No, we can't. A little bit of curves there, but I think better try and go on the outside of that. I probably could have done it with all my curves, but it's just not worth it. We're not in that much of a rush. I was leading the race by a fair way before I pit. A little inside again. Look, so he must be on the options he started the race on then. So 8 laps on a set of options is a long way, and this is why I'm able to dive all over him here. Massive cut by him there. Wow. And yeah, I'm absolutely all over him. So that's why I pit, because he's obviously waiting to use inters and just waiting and waiting for the rain that's still not coming. So I've certainly made the right choice based on Marco, and there we go, he's run deep. So that's a nice easy move in the end, and I'm going to get DRS as well as a bit of a double whammy for me. Using the rest of my curves as well to make myself get a nice big gap so he's not getting too much slipstream off me either. And nice easy move in the end, wasn't it? But as I said, that's a decision I made on lap 5. I can't remember exactly what lap I was going to pit on, but it wasn't that early because my tyres were still okay, but I decided to pit a little bit earlier than I would have in order to make best use of these prime tyres. And then hopefully I'll be ready as soon as it's ready for inters. These tyres won't be too worn out by that time. Mind you, it's still not very wet, is it? It started raining on like lap 5, and it's lap 8. It's been 3 laps of this rain, and it's still very light. It's still very easy to stay out on full dry tyres. So, Kowalski's next then, back up to P3, only a few seconds down on the leader, so even if it was to chuck it down now, I'm still only a couple of seconds away from the lead, so it's definitely a right call now. And I've not always made the best weather calls, have I? As Cody's League Spain is a good example of. There's a few other examples as well, but I seem to have absolutely nailed it in this race so far at least, but we are almost certainly going to make a change to winters at some point. So we'll see if I continue to nail the decision. So 2.2 now, we gained just over half a second in that final sector. So we're certainly faster, and again, much newer tyres. I expect they're probably on primes if they've gone this long and still got that much pace. But their tyres will be, of course, 5 laps older than mine, which is quite a way, quite a lot. And 2 seconds now, so another couple of attempts in that first sector. Not a lot, but a little bit. And you see a little bit of spray starting to come off the tyres now, which is usually a sign that it's just about getting there. But look on the right hand side, the tyres are actually still getting quite hot in that first sector. So, not ready yet. But the spray on the tyres is always an early sign that it's almost ready for inters. And I'm not quite going to get DRS. But hopefully I'll get a little bit slipstream to white. Don't think I'm quite getting it. Just a little bit too far back, a second and a half back. Somewhere in that region. And hopefully I'll get DRS on the next start finish straight though. You can see that every corner I'm just gaining, aren't I? Probably be more like a second now. There we are, 1.1. And I probably will get DRS on this next straight. And now even if everyone wants to box that for intermediates, I'll still be in good contention for this race win. So 5.5 seconds to Jack first, who of course copied my strategy. Well, that's a bit mean on him, isn't it? He pitted on the same lap as me, how about that? He didn't say he copied my strategy as such, because he might not have done. But he certainly pitted the same lap as me, and it looks like, is that Mini Black there? Just pitting now. And Kluwicki staying out with me, which means, does he get DRS? No, he doesn't. So the detection zone's late enough that he doesn't get it, so that should enable me to have a nice easy move at the inside. He's going to let me have it. He knows I'm quite a lot faster. Get it all slowed down. He turns in a little bit, but give me enough room anyway. And you can see now, it is certainly quite wet. The track looks wetter. We're getting more spray off the tyres. Tyre temps on the right-hand side are still enough, though. So we're still doing okay for now. It looks blue mid, and it looks darker visually. And this is the times that I said having fresher tyres certainly helps. Looks behind already 6 tenths down. And this tyre's just being that much more worn. He'll be struggling. I mean, I'm struggling with understeer, look, but he'll be struggling even more so. And again, going to Rich using some curves here, just because I know DRS detection zone's there. That's that line. So just trying to stop him from getting it. Trying to stop my competitors from gaining any sort of advantage on me. And lost my curves there. Probably won't get it. And again, rain just looks a little bit heavier. Track looks a little bit darker. Spray looks a little bit more. But tyres, look at me. I'm looking at the temperature on the right hand side there. And well, we'll just skip to lap 11 then. Not a lot more was happening there. I believe we went one or two more laps. And you see on the right side that tyres are starting to cool down a little bit now. They're not quite so dark as we like. We've got a little bit of oversteer there as well, just wiggling around. Jack first is still out, 7.3, so I'm still building a gap from him. And I think I expect I'll pop box at the end of this lap. Because I think it's pretty much ready for inters. Yeah, look at that, struggling to get around this corner flat now. And I'm surprised if I don't box. Nope, thought about it there, but did box in the end. Can I get slowed down? It's very easy to even destroy a car on that pit entry there, but nailed the entry nicely again. But even things like that, I never leave any on the table. I often, not too much, but I'll practice the pit entry. I'll do it, a few times, and I'll make sure that I'm on the limit. Because I mean, you can probably lose or gain half a second easily in the pit entry, and the pit exit on some tracks, and up to a second, and you struggle so hard to build a second gap to anyone around you. And certainly worth doing, and come right up to the middle of the track there, because Mini Black's just behind. I'm going to stop him getting any funny ideas flying on the outside of me. But got a bit of a gap to him now. I assume he's on inters. So looks like I pretty much nailed that call. Probably could have done one coming in one lap earlier, but it's not the end of the world. I'm still in the lead now on the correct tyres for the conditions. So I absolutely nailed that call as well, more or less. And Mini Black we saw, I believe, box a few laps ago, so we know he's got much older tyres than me. I didn't use any curves that time because we won't get DRS, of course, in the wet conditions. And lap 12 or 28 then, so we're still not quite halfway through this race. So still a little way to go, and the rain still is coming down, so we could go to full wets at some point, and we could even go back to dries. There's certainly long enough distance for that to happen. Going to which they're just trying to break the slipstream. Which I believe I've now managed to do. Get it all slowed down nicely. This is, of course, my first lap on inters in this race. Did a little bit of quality, of course, on inters. This is my first lap on it in 1.5 to Mini Black, so I'm getting 7 tenths in that middle sector alone. So a nice big chunk there, and a further 1.5 to Kluwicki in P3. And I expect it's Jack first behind them, but look at that cluster of cars then. Looks like a very close midfield battle, but not so close out the front for now, but there's quite a few cars within just a few seconds, isn't there, back there. And looks like a car for back as well, unfortunately. And come around now to finish off lap 12. Get it all slowed down nicely. Squirt the throttle on the exit, a little bit of oversteer. And there we go then. So look at the gap. Now it's 1.9 to Mini Black, so another decent chunk. 4 tenths, I believe it was, in the final sector. And now we skip all the way to the end of lap 18. You can see on the right side their tyres are really quite worn now. But we've managed to pull out a nice big gap to Kluwicki. Looks like Mini Black's already pit. With, of course, he went a few laps earlier on his tyres. And you see him just struggling now, just having to coax it round. But it looks quite wet, doesn't it? I don't think it's ready for full wets, though. And 10.5 seconds to Kulwicki, in fact, and a further 1.1 to Fat First. But I've just tried to edge it out this far, so that hopefully the next set of inters will last me till the end. But I might that be a push, though. 10 laps. What lap did we pit? Was it lap 11 or lap 12? I think it's lap 11 for a set of inters. So we've only done, what's that, 7 laps. So doing 10 laps would be a challenge at the end, but we'll give it a crack. I'm going to lean that in pit entry once again, making sure I'm reselecting inters. And one of the guys behind me will box as well. Give me the lead back. It looks like all 3 of them have boxed, have they? Oh no, one guy's gone round. Who's that that's gone round there? I expect he'll probably be ahead of me. Yes, he will. We'll find out in just a second who that is. Jack First, looks like. So, Jack First there. Not sure. Maybe he's on a different strategy. Perhaps he's on a 3-step. Is that right? So how many stops have we done? We did primes to inters. So we're on a 3 stops. Perhaps he's on a 4 stop. That's what I meant to say. That took way too long to work that out, didn't it? And these feel much better, don't they, instantly? And I don't think it will go to full wet. It's just not quite wet enough. It's just not raining hard enough. But just 1.6 Jack First now then. I'm about to find out how fresh his tyres are. In terms of how quickly we gain on him. Of course, we won't get DRS. Be in the wet conditions. But 7.5 seconds to me back then. Who, of course, was forced to pit earlier. Oh, double shift there. Sometimes get that on my wheel. Just a double shift. And use the rest of my curves. But if I'd had DRS there, I might be able to take him. But going to be too far back, I think. Mind you, I'm getting on him quite a bit. But no, I'm looking inside there. But that's more just in case he breaks catastrophically early than anything else. But look at this. He's certainly got no grip. So he must have pitted quite a few laps ago. A little bit around the outside here. Just managed to break him. And just decide to go for it there. And just get on the throttle. And manage to squeeze on the outside there. And that was some move in the wet. Yes, alright, he had much worse tyres, but even so, that's one of those moves that wasn't really on, and as I saw he was struggling so much for grip on the inside and left me plenty of room, I just decided to, you know what, let's go for it. Squirt the throttle, round the outside we go. Job done. And very harsh corner cutting ruling there. See Justin had to try and not cut that corner, but still managed to. It's amazing, isn't it? Some corners you can cut. I've done quite big cuts this race, in fact. No extension there. But it doesn't give you warnings for any of those, but the tiniest cut on certain corners, then straight away a warning. A little bit silly, isn't it? So 2.1 seconds. I do just within the pits though. To Jack First and lap 24. And look at it, stopped raining. Lots of oversteer there. Lots and lots of oversteer. It stopped raining officially. So I think it could be time for slicks again, you know. I'm not sure just yet, but it's certainly stopped raining. Not a drop in the sky, is there? And these tyres haven't got great grip. Kulwicki's just behind. We'll find out a gap in just a minute. And of course, I don't want to throw this win away by doing an extra pit stop when everyone makes it to the end on inters. So I just need to be mindful of what I'm doing here. 18.5 seconds though. I should be okay either way, to be honest, as long as I make the right call. And consider going in there. You see him just drifting to the left slightly, but think better of it so I don't actually pit that lap, because these tyres still got pretty decent grip. The car ahead there, who's actually a lap car, has just pitted. So I assume he's gone for slicks. And that's Granu. Get also down for the first corner. So that is absolutely perfect for me, because he's just come up right behind me on slicks. So if he's able to keep pace with me, it's time for slicks. If he falls back from me, it's time to stay on inters. So this is decision time. Any further, and I might as well stay to the end on inters regardless of conditions, really. So this is decision time. I need to box this lap or not. I could probably lap 26. I would say is the latest I could probably box. But I will make a decision in this lap, like I say, based on the car behind. You can see they're reselecting options. Just gonna keep my eye out, and looks like he's already been able to keep up with me. So I suspect it's probably already worth it to pick box for options. Yeah, look at that. He's right with me. He's not falling back, that's for sure. And, well, I can tell you that I was communicating with Granu on TeamSpeak. And I was saying, you can see he's backing right out of it. They're swerving, backing right out of it. I was saying, go past me. I wouldn't slow down for him, but, you know, I'm not going to stop him flying past me. Because, and yeah, he tells me to switch to dries there. Because, you know, there's quite a few laps to go and I was holding him up. He'd been miles faster than me. But he decides he's had enough of this race, really. He just doesn't really care. He's gone quite deep there. Look at that, all over me again. There's certainly better grip on the option tyres, so I will be boxing in this lap for them. And, well, yeah, unfortunately we won't see the tyre wear, but these tyres would have been pretty cooked by now, and that's why I'm struggling for grip. I would have made it to the end, but it wouldn't have been great in terms of tyre wet. So this race has been pretty much perfect, isn't it? I mean, I've not driven perfectly. I mean, you know, I would never really say I've driven perfectly, but in terms of how it's played out, in terms of my strategy, it's been absolutely perfect, hasn't it? So I wasn't sure if I could make it to the end on inters, but it dries up just a few laps before the end, just as the tyres start to go off, and I switch to wet. Dry, sorry. I make that early call to go to primes, from the options to primes before I necessarily had to, but did it anyway, and that played out perfectly. Then once those started to get worn out, went to inters. Once those were worn out, went to another set of inters. Once those were worn out, went to slicks. It's just been absolutely perfect, isn't it, this race? It couldn't have possibly gone better. And part of that is luck, of course, but part of that is certainly making the right decisions, particularly in that first pit stop, to pit early. And about 4 seconds to flat first now. I'm not sure what tyres he's on. I'm sure we'll find out at the end of the sector. I'd imagine he's on inters, because I think it's probably, unless he's pulled a blind of a strategy, I've probably pulled more than... can't speak. I've probably pulled more than that on him of a gap. That doesn't make any sense at all. Why can't I get my words out? I probably pulled a bigger gap on him than that. There we go. That's what I meant. And Marco does the fastest lap then, a 37.9. I wouldn't mind getting the fastest lap. See me there on the right hand side, the tyres are a little bit cool, so just doing a little bit of swerving, keeping in sixth down this straight, just to try and get them nicely up to temperature. Well, I've got a bit of room to play with. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't have any room to play with. Still swerving. And I do believe... Just thinking about it now, I'm thinking, obviously, I know myself quite well, funnily enough. 5.2 to flat first, so I expect he's either on very worn dries or he's on winter still. And I expect that's because I saw Marco's purple time, and I thought, right, I'm not having that. So that's why I'm doing lots and lots of swerving, just getting his tyres up to temp so I can go for the next lap. And that's just my mentality. I told you, in Abu Dhabi, I never give up. You know, I'm winning this race fairly comfortably at the moment, and there'll be no more pit stops now to the end, but... saving all my curves as well, look, just for a bit of a squirt out the final corner. Did I just go to Rich as well? I believe I did. So, unfortunately, we do skip the lap there, but you can see I did a 36.9 in the end. And, yeah, that's quite interesting now, actually thinking about my mentality. And looks like we're going purple on this lap, though. We've gone even faster again. We've gone to Rich. And, oh, a bit of oversteer there. Got +1 of fuel, so I must have saved some fuel even in the last couple of laps and just built it up, knowing that the final lap would be driest and also the fastest. And... I was quite entertained by that mentality, actually, of seeing the purple lap and going, right, in which case, let's completely sacrifice his next few laps, get the tyres nicely up to temp, save the curves, save the fuel, and let's absolutely go for it on the final lap. And Granu's done a fastest lap, so he's thinking the same thing, a 36.3, hopefully I can beat that. Lots of wheelsman for winter line, and, well, it was purple there. And, wow, 36.2, so very, very tight with Granu for fastest lap there. And that shows that Granu has got very good pace, just bad luck in the races and perhaps bad strategy calls as well. And, well, 23.1 second gap to the nearest guy of Jack first. And Kluwicki just behind, only about a second back. And Mini Black again, pulling off a good strategy in P4 there to be just half a second back again. So pretty tight between P2, well, and down to P5, really. It's all pretty tight there. But, must be said, fairly dominant win, really, wasn't it, in the end? And like I said, the race just unfolded absolutely perfectly. Partly my decisions, partly a bit of luck. And, of course, I had pretty decent pace as well, judging on the pole position. And I thank you for watching. Bye-bye.